If your garage door opener just quit, don't waste time guessing. I'm going to show you how to replace it the right way and upgrade to a quiet one in the process. So here's the scenario. A few days ago, we had a power surge come through our electric line. For some reason, the only thing that it hit was the garage door opener. So you hit the button, nothing happens. So we pulled the release lever and had to manually open up and close the door. So what I did is I went on the manufacturer's website and did their troubleshooting guide. So mine tells me that the logic board or the motor is what's bad. Well, now mine is 10 years old, so I'm not going to just throw parts at it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace it, but we're also going to upgrade it from a chain drive to a belt drive. The reason we're doing that is because a chain drive is extremely loud. This one right here is what we're going to go with now. It's a Genie. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. This one came out of my pocket. What we're doing is, since we're going to upgrade the house to a smart home anyway, you may have watched the video before where we had our outside lighting was put on a smart home switch. This one we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to go ahead and put this on the Wi-Fi system, and it'll be integrated with the Alexa and various phone apps. So this Genie garage door opener actually comes with a battery backup, which is a good plus. It also comes with the outside keypad. It comes with a wall pad that goes next to the door, and it comes with 2 of the car remotes. I'm going to go ahead and put a third one in. So we'll add that to it as well. Because we're upgrading everything and we're trying to make everything quiet as possible, I'm going to go ahead and use some garage door rail lube, and this will quieten it down even more. There are a few tools that you need to use. These are probably going to be the basic ones that you're going to use. A good socket set, because everything is up on a bracket. We'll need this to take it down. It says to have a drill and some bits ready. However, I think that because we are replacing one that's already existing, we're not installing a new one. I don't think that these will be needed, but we'll see. We'll probably need a tape measure of some sort. One of the most important pieces in my mind is going to be a level. It doesn't have to be a 4-foot level. It can be just a small little torpedo level like this one. More than likely, you'll need a set of screwdrivers for adjustment, and it probably wouldn't hurt to have a framing square. This one's just an aluminum one for carpentry. It works just as well. The reason why you'll probably need one of these is just to get that straight edge right up next to the ceiling. So when you install the rail, it will have just a little bit of fall. You'll see more of that when we get up there.
All right, well, we are going to start with laying out everything that we need. Right here, we are starting with the rail. This rail actually comes in like 4 pieces. Um, it's best to stick it up on a ladder. That way you're not on the ground hurting yourself. Right here, there is a turnbuckle that is actually the tensioner carriage for the belt. Here, I needed to swap around because I needed the space for the motor. Mount the motor to the rail. Tighten everything down by hand first, make sure it's all lined up, and then cinch it down with a wrench.
Now, while we will be messing with this rail and taking this bracket down, what we're not going to be messing with is this spring. The reason why is because this spring is extremely under tension. It has to be balanced enough to where when you bring your door up about 4 feet off the ground, then it stays there. So it doesn't want to pull too much, and it doesn't want to pull too little. If you start messing with these springs or these brackets, that tension will release and you're going to be in the way. It's going to mess up the door, could mess up your face. That's things that we don't want. If you lift your door and it won't stay open at 4 foot, then you need to call in the actual professionals for this. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take this arm off of the rail. We're going to keep this because the new one comes with one, but if it's already mounted on the door, one less step. So now we've got to get these wires off. These wires actually go to your door sensors down low and to your wall switch. So it's a good idea, before you disconnect all these, go ahead and take a picture. Now I know how these are labeled. White's for commons, your red will be your positive power. These are twisted together, so they're going to be the black for the doors. And what I also did was go ahead and put some tape on here, and I'm going to write door on this one and switch on this one. So I know this one goes to the wall, this one goes to the door sensors. And then you just disconnect everything. Put them up out of the way. We'll go ahead and take this bulb bar at it. And now we'll disconnect these two side mounts and we'll drop this down. Keep in mind that when you take this down, it's going to fall. So go ahead and position your ladder underneath. At this point, we're going to go ahead and take the rail off of the motor. That way we can have something to work with. It's not as heavy. So per the instructions, we're actually supposed to do some measuring over the highest point where the door exits the curve in order to miss the bracket. Since we're relocating the old bracket, we'll take the level hinge points and we're going to put it even with these right here. So that way we know where our clearance is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my level, quick and dirty measure, and we're going to go where our pivot point was, which was the center point of that. And then we're going to transfer it back to this 2x4. Now we should be able to take this bracket down and put the new bracket up.
By level hinge point, I'm talking about the pins that come in on the end of the rail. As long as those are the same height and everything clears the spring rod, then you should be fine. Once you get all that mounted, go ahead and put your rail in. Make sure it's supported on the motor side. And then lift your door and place a towel underneath the rail. That should give you enough clearance.
All right, now that we've got it stuck into the wall back here, into the pivot point, we've got it resting on the towel right here for the time being. But if you notice, the old bracket is not lining up with the new. Now we can do one of two things. We can either bend this to where the bracket comes at an angle, or we can take these down and relocate them. And they're going to be about 6 inches out of play. Since we're about 6 inches short, what we're going to do is we're going to take the new brackets that come with it and we're going to slightly bend this L bracket that's on the ceiling to where it comes down at an angle and hits this last hole. And what that'll do is that'll suspend this part up to where it needs to be, and it will also sandwich itself to where it's not going to rock one way or the other. So I think that's what we're going to do. Alright, so we need to make sure this carriage is about 16 inches, give or take, from the wall. And now we just marry the two together. Make sure that this part is lined up. And before you tighten these down with your wrench, make sure that your clearance and everything travels and doesn't go into a bind. Alright, that should be good to go. So this is the old sensor that was with the other unit. And instead of using these sensors, we're going to put these newer ones on. And these are actually going to mount to the wall. This old style actually mounts to the rail. And these are way too high. So what we're going to do is we'll pop these off, disconnect them, and we're actually going to put ours 5 to 6 inches. So that's quite a bit lower. Whoa. Another thing that I'm going to do before I mount it to the wall, I'm going to go ahead and terminate this so I don't have to mess with it while it's mounted. So on these, it's a little clamp style termination, so you don't have to strip a whole lot. It also does not matter which wire goes under which terminal. All this is doing is completing a circuit loop, just a signal. This is not containing any type of voltage, so it's pretty safe. Now is where you reroute your wires. This one has a nice little channel. They're going to come down inside the channel. We're going to re-terminate. That's where the picture that we took will come in handy. So I'm going to button this up and make it look nice and pretty versus what it used to look like. Now that we've got the motor up and the sensors wired, everything wired up, now we need to focus on the wall switch. So we're going to take this one down, reuse the old wires, put the new one on, and then we should be able to set limits. Okay, so release that, close the door. Now we're going to set our limits. So you re-engage this thing. We're going to go up and find our carrier. And now it's locked in place. Up and down. Alright, so now with the Genie, this one, I have my limit set switches here. So I'll go ahead and program these limits, and then everything should be programmed. Whatever garage door motor you use, follow your instructions on the limit setting because it's different for all of them. So what we have to do is we have to, on this one, hit our set switch, travel it all the way down to where we want it, set it, travel it all the way back up to where we want it, and set that, and that'll set our limits. What the limits means is whenever you hit your button to open or you hit your button to close, it only travels so far and then it will stop. Otherwise the motor will just keep running. So this is letting it know where it needs to stop.
So it's a pretty straightforward process. You set the limit down first, then you set the limit up. And with my particular one, you have to go hit the wall switch to make sure it works.
And now we just have to take this off and install the new one. If your door opener is dead, this is a totally doable project. Just stay away from the springs and take your time with the alignment. If it's not aligned, your door won't work. Doesn't matter what brand it is. If you found this video helpful, it would help me out if you liked and subscribed. Comment down below any other projects that you need help with. All the tools and materials are linked in the description. We'll see you next time.